Welcome back. Tonight's topic, pollution in America. Should we be more responsible for our trash, or should we get the pick of the litter? Joining us now is the coordinator of Downey, California's Keep Downey Beautiful program, Carol Rowland, and Clemson, Montana Parks and Sanitation Supervisor, Andy DeLong. The real question, what should we be doing about the littering problem? Carol.
We should be getting involved. We should be educating our public. We should be doing cleanups. We should be planting trees. Education really is the big key.
All right, Andrew, what do you think?
Litter and pollution are serious problems, and they need to be dealt with seriously. We need to take a hard, scientific look at who is polluting and how. In my town of Clemson, Montana, we received a government grant to study this issue, and one of the things that we found is that littering can often be predicted based on socioeconomic and cultural basis. It's not the most politically correct thing in the world to say.
Carol.
Everybody litters. Why you have a lot of litter is you have dense areas. It's a culture of our society.
But the fact of the matter is that different types of people litter differently. And we need to acknowledge that so we can focus our education efforts in certain communities, and we can hold the right people responsible for what they're doing, what they may not even know they're doing.
All right, now Mr. DeLong has brought with him some video of different types of litterers. Tell us about what we're going to see.
What we need to do is understand our differences so that we can correct them. And this is a videotape of different ways of littering and who does it.
Let's take a look at Mr. DeLong's footage of different types of littering. Now, I believe you're going to talk us through this as well, right?
This first example is what I call the poop out. This guy is going to litter in a way that makes it look like he just pooped it out, like it's perfectly natural, that it just emanated from him, you know, or that it fell from the sky and it's not his fault. This is typically an upper middle class, well-educated person, maybe a wealthy, well-educated person who knows better. This is called the invisible trash can. You ever see an invisible trash can? I mean, that's a classic. This is a lower middle class mentality. It's the same kind of delusion that makes this person think that he can get out of debt by calling a 1-800 number. Lower middle class and poor people very often believe that the NBA is going to help them get out of the ghetto, and he's taking a shoot for the garbage, you know. That's what he's trying to do.
I don't know about
they practice their shot all the time. They think it's going to get them someplace.
Montana?
Yes, that's
You're
right.
from Montana.
All right, let's take
What does that mean? I'm from Montana. What do you say about that?
Well, I don't know. It's
what are you saying?
It's a little
I know what
different.
she's saying.
What am I saying?
Montana, the Dakotas, they're not useful states. No offense.
All right, let's look at the next clip.
This next one is the most flagrant. It's called the graduation toss. That's what I call it. These are just poor people who have nothing to lose will do this. She's throwing it up like it's the end of the world. Anarchy. Who cares? All bets are off. She's got nothing to lose, you know.
That's how poor people get rid of their trash?
Absolutely. Well, that's the only people who we have seen littering in that brazen manner are people who are on the bottom rung of the economic ladder.
Carol, is that true?
When was the last time you left your state of Montana?
I leave it frequently. What's your point?
You do. Well, I just think that those are really narrow opinion of how people litter.
The group most likely to litter is 18 to 34-year-old black women.
What?
Now, I'm not happy to be reporting that statistic.
Come on.
I'm not happy to be reporting it.
Come on.
It's an observable fact. It's an observable fact, and we need to figure out why. We need to know, why are black women turning our world into such a pigsty? Why are they doing that? What we found when we studied them is that they tend to be very angry. They spend a lot of time talking on cell phones. They drink orange soda. They listen to rap-influenced R&B music, and they tend to believe that men are going to come along and clean up after them.
Do you agree with him?
Well, I think that he's just narrow-minded and he's a racist.
Yes.
And I think that...
Yes.
Anybody who talks about the reality of race is a racist. And that's apparently what we're learning here. It's ridiculous. Everybody fits into a group, and different groups litter differently. You want to take up the issue of clean water, take it up with the Mexicans. And that's... Take a look at Mexico. Everybody knows you don't drink the water down in Mexico. Why is that? It's not like the entire population just woke up one day and said, we'd like to have dirty water.
I think you're forgetting that all the water that goes there flows first through America.
All the water in Mexico flows through America, but it's clean all the way up here, and then as soon as you hit the Mexican border, it gets dirty. Well, what are you talking about, guys?
They have a different infrastructure. We have a very sophisticated infrastructure. That's why our water is treated. Some of it comes from groundwater.
All of what you're saying is a result of the culture. Culturally speaking, if you give a Mexican a glass of water and go away for 15 minutes, when you come back, his feet are going to be in it. Now, coincidence that the water in Mexico is undrinkable and filthy, and we need to do something about it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Carol. You mentioned a bunch of different groups, both racial as well as financial. He hasn't mentioned white people at all, has he?
No.
Sure. Well, I'm happy to. Take a look at white trash. These people have taken littering to a whole new level. They're littering ovens and stoves and car parts on their lawns. And you know what? White trash are themselves littering up trailer parks and roller rinks.
Other than a white person that is somehow helpful or helps recycle or anything.
I'll tell you what, I will do that. As a matter of fact, we have found that Hispanic women are most likely to clean up after others. And I'll tell you who is a real...
That is so unfair.
I think that comment was obviously misinterpreted because that's just what happens. Look, I'll tell you who's a real hero in this story, ethnically speaking, is the Jews. They don't throw a lot of things out. They hoard things. They're afraid that the things they own are going to be worth money, and they don't want to get rid of them. And when it comes to littering, every one of us could afford to be a little more Jewish.
Do you disagree with that?
You know what?
I appreciate that. We don't hoard things.
Well, I'm sorry.
That was true what you said about the Mexicans, but that about the Jews.
Come on!
Absolutely true. It's absolutely true. These are observable facts.
I don't agree with everything you say. I'll be honest. I mean, I do believe that people do some of those things, but my problem is with litter. What is litter, anyway? I mean, say I throw an apple core out the window.
That's
is that litter? That is? But it's going to grow an apple tree.
No.
Let me ask you this. What happens if I throw a live chicken out the window? Is that a litter? It's going to walk away. Is that litter? Answer the question. The environmentalists won't answer this question. Answer the question.
Yes.
What if I throw a raw chicken out the window? I throw it out the window. It's in the air. A German Shepherd jumps up, grabs it, and eats it. Am I littering into the dog's mouth, or am I feeding a dog? Answer the question.
This is hypothetical.
I throw a chicken strapped to a jetpack out the window. It flies up in the air. Up in the air, does not touch the ground. Is it litter?
I think it could be litter.
Why? It's not on the ground.
It's in the air. It's going to stay
All
there.
right, coming up, protecting wildlife, rainforests or pain forests. Stay tuned.